എനിക്കും കൊഞ്ചം തണ്ണി വേണം. കുടിയേൽ പറള. Oh, it's time. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Manojavam Marudhatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayuta Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Sirasa Namami Santoshini Jaganmata Mama Saubhagyavriddhaye Namaskaromi Bhaktya Tvam Prasanna Varada Bhava Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kridau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddhajnanaigamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Satchitanandarupaya Vishwotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha Ilambujasyamalako Sita Samaropita Vamabha John? அது அங்கேயே தான் பண்ணியிருப்பேன். Hariyo. What is the Shanti Padam there? Shanti Padam? Upanishad. Upanishad. Shanti Padam. Badrangarne bhi hai. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयामदेवाः Bhadram Pashyemakshaviryajatraः Sthirairangaih Stushtupakum Sastanubih Veshema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastarchyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. We chant Metta Suktam. Om Yat Chandasa Vrishabho Vishwarupah Chandobhyotyamrita Sambhabhuva Samendro Metaya Sprinotu Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Jihva Me Madhumattama Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishruvam Brahmanakoshosi Methaya Vihidah Shrutam Me Gopaya Om Shanti 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 Om Metha Devi Jushamanana Agam Dishwaji Bhadra Sumanasya Mana Tvaya Jushtanutamana Duruktan Brihatvadema Vitate Suviraha Tvaya Jushtarishirбhavati Devi Tvaya Brahmagada Shrirutattvaya Tvaya Jushtachitram Vindate Vasusano Jushasva Travino Namethe Medham Indro Datatu Medham De Saraswati Medham Me Ashwina Vubhava Dattam Pushkarasraja Apsara Suchaya Metha Gandharveshu Chayanmanaha Daivi Metha Saraswati Samam Metha Surabhir Jushatagam Swaha Amam Metha Surabhir Vishwarupa Hiranyavarna Jagati Jagamya Urjaswati Payasa Pinvamana Samam Metha Supratika Jushantam Mahi Metham Mahi Prajam Mahi Tejo Datatu Mahi Metham Mahi Prajam Mahi Indra Indriyam Datatu Mahi Metham Mahi Prajam Mahi Suryo Prajo Datatu Om Shanti 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 Hamsa Hamsaya Vidmahe Hamsaya Dhimahi Tanno Hamsa Prachodayat. The word Veda means a source of knowledge. Vidyate Nyayate Anena iti Veda. A body of literature through which we come to know about the various means and ends of human life. It is therefore called Veda, and it is also called Shruti, because it was supposed to be heard by the rishis as it was revealed by the Lord. Shruti means that which is heard by the rishis, and therefore Shrutis are heard literature. It is not born out of a human intellect, and therefore it is called apaurusheyam, or supra-human origin. Also, they have been propagated in the tradition of Karna Parampara, means teacher-taught tradition. Originally, they were not in written form, and it was learned by hearing from the Guru, and hence it is called Shruti. And the Vedas are, of course, 4 in number: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. And this vast body of literature is broadly classified into 2 portions, known as Veda Purva Bhaga and Veda Anta Bhaga. And in the Veda Purva Bhaga, they have 3 topics called Sadhyatrayam, Sadhanatrayam, Doshatrayam. Doshatrayam. The Veda Purva talks about 3 types of human goal, which are: number 1, self-improvement, means improvement of our body, our sense organs, our mind, etc., which is called self-improvement. That is the first topic. The second topic is, the second goal discussed is the improvement of our possessions. Improving the house, vehicle, trying to improve your family members, etc. So, Upadhi Parishkara, number 1. Vishaya Parishkara, number 2. And third one is the improvement of the setup in which you live. I will call it as setup improvement. If the setup is not good, then you will get upset. So, Paristhiti Parishkaraha. Thus, 3 types of human goal, they are discussed. One is, so there are 3 types, that means Sadhyatrayam. Sadhyatrayam is 3 types. Now, self-improvement, improvement of possession, improvement of the setup. These are the 3. Because the human beings know that both security and happiness are dependent upon these 3 factors. If any one of these is deficient, you can never enjoy your life. Because the enjoyment depends upon yourself, your possession, your setup. These are the 3 goals talked about in Veda Purvabhaga. And to accomplish these 3 goals, Veda talks about 3 types of sadhanas and 3 types of disciplines, sadhanatrayam. Number 1, physical discipline, varieties of rituals, kayika sadhanani. Number 2, verbal disciplines, vachika sadhanani, in the form of japam, parayanam, etc. The third one is manasa sadhanani, like varieties of meditation, upasanas, etc. And sadhyatrayam is 1, oneself, 2, possession, and 3, setup. Sadhanatrayam is kayika sadhanani, Vachika sadhanani, manasa sadhanani. And after dealing with sadhyatrayam and sadhanatrayam, now we talk about doshatrayam. All the sadhyatrayams are accomplished through the sadhanatrayas. But they have got some intrinsic deficiencies, defects, doshas. What are they? Dukkha mishritatvam, number one. They are always mixed with pain. There is no pure joy. They do give joy but mixed with pain. The pain associated with acquisition, pain associated with preservation, and pain associated with loss. Pain of loss. And therefore, dukkha mishritam. That is the number one problem. Second dosha is that they never give total satisfaction. And therefore, struggle is perpetuated. It is like a gambler, even if he wins, it doesn't satisfy him. He will go for it again and again. That's why, who was that Raja? I forgot his name. So he, Pururava's father, Nahusha, I think, yes. He said he was cursed, become old, and then Shukracharya said, if one of your son, Yayadi, sorry, not Nahusha, Yayadi, yes, Yayadi. What happened is, then he exchanged to Pururava's. And after enjoying so many years, he came back and told his son, Najadu kama kamanam papogena shamyati. You, whatever amount of enjoyment you do, any number of years, it will never satisfy, satiated. It is something like pouring ghee into the fire. So, atriptikaratvam is the number one problem. Sorry, second problem. Second one is dukkha mishri. First one is dukkha mishridatvam. Second one is atriptikaratvam. The third dosha is they are all dependent. They will never give freedom. That is called bandhakatvam. Bondage. The happiness is only 1 second or 2 seconds, but that will bind you. Coffee drinking, example. So, that joy only is little, but then it will bind you. That is the thing. It will lead to more and more enslavement only. Therefore, instead of strengthening the individual, they only weaken, which we call bandhakatvam. So, dukkha mishritatvam, adriptikaratvam, and bandhakatvam. These are the intrinsic defects. Thus, sadhanatrayam, sadhyatrayam, and doshatrayam. We saw with regard to the Veda Purva Bhaga. And generally, majorities of people are satisfied with these sadhanas and sadhyas, even though they suffer these doshas. Majorities of them.
These doshas apply to both the sadhya and the sadhana?
Yeah. Huh?
So, no, I was under the impression that these doshas apply only to the sadhanas because they are karmas. So, I was thinking that the doshas
It is applicable to all the both.
to both the categories.
Yes, yes. Now, Majority, they are very happy with it. But there are a few people, rare one, experience these doshas, they look for some other goal, which is defect free. Very few people seek dosha rahita sadhyam, a goal which is defect free. And to those advanced people, Vedanta addresses. So I just introduce what is Vedanta. Vedanta says, I do have a nirdosha sadhyam, defect-free goal. Therefore, this Vedanta becomes relevant for those people for whom Veda Purva become irrelevant or non-appealing. People who are very happy with Veda Purva Bhaga, fine. They let them be there. We don't want to disturb them. But then, those who are not satisfied or they have seen the limitations, for them Vedanta appeals. Now we have to find out what does Vedanta says to those matured people. It says that the dosha-rahitam sadhyam, the defect-free goal, is Brahman. Nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmat brahmanite shritaha. 5th chapter, 19th verse. Nirdosham hi samam brahma. Bhagavan said there. Though Brahman is nirdosha, dosha rahita sadhyam is that Brahman. So, and naturally, the seeker is all enthusiastic to achieve Brahman. Now, when you hear that, and to that seeker, Vedanta gives a shocking statement. What is that? What does it say? Kindly don't seek that Brahman. Don't go after that Brahman. You will never find that Brahman. Because tattvam asi. You are that. That defect-free Brahman is you. You are that Brahman. This is the revealing statement. When a student listens to this, he gets into a problem. What is that? Until he heard Vedanta, he was looking upon himself as a full of doshas, defects. I am saturated with doshas. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, whatever koshas. All problems. Defect-riddled jiva. Even if I have a good opinion about myself, but my family members or the society will shatter that. They will tell you how useless you are in spite of attending classes. My vision about myself, I am sadosha jivaha. And what is Vedanta says? Nirdosham Brahma Tvam Asi. You are that defect-free Brahman. Naturally, there is a very, very serious doubt. Am I Sadosha Jiva or am I Nirdosha Brahma? I cannot dismiss Vedas because Vedas are coming from the Lord and therefore defect-free knowledge. Vedas are called Adrishta Pramanam. No, sorry, Adushta Pramanam. Adushta Pramanam. Human instrument of knowledge is called Sadushta Pramanam. Whereas Vedas are called Adushta Pramanam. And therefore, I cannot take lightly the Vedic revelation. At the same time, I know my defects are not my imagination. I am very closely experiencing it. Therefore, I cannot dismiss any Anubhava Pramanam. Therefore, Anubhava Pramanam says, I am with defects, whereas Shastra says, I am defect-free Brahman. And therefore, I should go in for an enquiry. Shastra Vichara. This is called self-enquiry, in order to find out which is a fact and which is a misconception. That is called enquiry. This self-enquiry leads one to self-discovery, which will negate all misconceptions about oneself. And once I am a seeker of knowledge, then I should go for an appropriate means of knowledge, instrument of knowledge, pramana. Like color, knowledge requires the means of a pair of eyes. Therefore, I should go for an appropriate means, which we call it as pramanam. There are 6 pramanas or instruments of knowledge: Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalapti, Shabdam. Of these 6 instruments of knowledge, 5 of them are turned outward, meant to study the external world. None of them meant to observe myself. Behirmukha pramanani, not antarmukha pramanam. And external pramanams are not useful for self-knowledge. Eyes cannot see my face. They are meant to see others' face. Therefore, we can eliminate these 5 pramanams and take up the 6th pramanam, which can reveal my nature. That pramanam is Vedanta pramanam, which is meant to reveal my nature. Therefore, Vedanta serves like a mirror. I cannot look at my face without a mirror. If you want to know your nature, use the Vedanta Darpanam. And of course, when you use the mirror, you have to use the eyes also. In addition to your eyes, you require a mirror also to see yourself. So to know yourself, you need an additional pramana called Vedanta. And therefore, what should I do to attain Brahman? Study the scriptures and inquire into the nature of Brahman. How do I know how to use the instrument of knowledge called Vedanta? Never attempt to use Vedanta pramana by yourself. Learn the operation of Vedanta pramana properly from a teacher. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. The more you look into Vedanta, more you come to know yourself. Like the more you look into the mirror, you are going to see your face clearly, with clarity. It may be seemingly extrovert activity, but it will turn you into yourself like the mirror experience. Shastric knowledge is never extrovertedness. Then what is Shravanam? It is a systematic analysis of Vedanta Shastram to arrive at the central teaching. Extracting the central teaching of Vedanta is Shravanam. For this Shravanam, 6 factors are required. That 6 factors are to be taken into consideration. What are they? Upakrama, Upasamharau, Abhyasaha, Apurvata, Phalam, Arthavadaha, Upapatticha, Lingam, Tatparya Nirnaye. Again, Upakrama, Upasamharau, Abhyasaha, Apurvataha, Phalam, Arthavadaha, Upapatticha, Lingam, Tatparya Nirnaye. This is a famous verse in all our Shastras. Shastra Nirnaya. How do you know? How do you establish this is a Shastra? So these are the norms. What is called Upakrama, Upasamharam. What you start, what you end, it should be in line. So like, Gita, you see, Bhagavan start with Ashocha Ananya Shochastam, then he say Ma Shuchaha. So all our Shastras, you will see, they start with one topic and end also with the same topic. That is, our consistency is there in teaching. It's called Upakrama Upamsara. Then Abhyasa. So there will be repetition. Will be a lot of repetition will be there. In different way they repeat the same idea. Apurvata. Something, the topic will be something special. Not ordinary. It will be extraordinary. Apurvataha. Then phalam also given. So you see in Gita also 6th chapter Bhagavan meditation he introduces. He gives you the phalam. What is the Sukhamatyantikam, all those things Bhagavan gives. Then Arthavadaha, glorification. So sometimes he will magnify the result. So Arthavada also. Then Upapatti, logic also used. So these are the sixfold linga. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Upakrama Upasara is 1. Yeah. I thought they were just the sandhi together. Upakrama Upasamhara. Oh. Yeah. This is sandhi there. Yes. Systematic and consistent study of Vedanta for a length of time under a guidance of a competent teacher. Who is a competent teacher? One who was a competent disciple. So not self-appointed teacher. And thus Sravanam will give you Atmajnanam. I am not a Sadosha Jiva, but I am Nirdosham Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, iti Jnanam come true. Mananam, this is called Shravanam. Mananam is meant to remove all doubts with regard to teaching of Vedanta. I cannot easily accept that I am defect-free Brahman. Our intellect is not going to accept that easily. As long as doubts are there, knowledge is as good as ignorance. And therefore, Mananam exercise is freeing the knowledge from all doubts. Therefore, Mananena Samshaya Nivritti. And then Nididhyasanam is meditation. This is for internalization of this teaching by dwelling upon the doubt-free knowledge in any form. It can be in the form of reading, writing, discussing, or teaching. All these are meditation. Don't think only closing your eyes, sitting there is meditation. These are also meditation. It is one of the method. What is required is that your mind should be dwelling upon the teaching. The idea is to be decondition ourselves. Why do we have to do that? Because we have conditioned ourselves. all the time thinking I am a defective jiva and I am dependent upon external factors for my security, peace, and joy. There are so many varieties of self conditionings. In fact, our entire lifestyle driven by these conditionings. Unfortunately, we are only changing our type of activity. We never question our conditioning. Even though we failed in transforming our lives, we have worsened the condition. We will never make an attempt to decondition ourselves. Once I discover this fact, the other three sadhyatrayam, their arrival of departure will not make any difference. There are two types of samsara. When things and people are around, I feel the burden. And when they are absent, I feel emptiness. This is called samsara. Now, what is moksha? The presence does not cause any burden, and the absence does not cause any emptiness. If I can enjoy such a state of mind, I have benefited from this knowledge. These are the points to be taken into consideration before we enter into the Upanishadic study. Now, few more technical points. One of the doubts. In the scriptures, it is mentioned that Brahman cannot be revealed by words. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. We have also seen in Keno Upanishad, na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vak gacchati, na mano, no mano, na vijanimo. All that statement. It is not only said by the scriptures, but it can be proved by reasoning also. Because it is said that words can reveal an object, if that object fulfills certain conditions. A word or words can reveal any object only when an object fulfills certain conditions. And those conditions are called Shabda Pravritti Nimittani. Means conditions that an object has to fulfill if that object is to be revealed through words. I am telling you all this because I want you to understand our rishis have thoroughly studied everything. Minutely, right? And in the scriptures, they have analyzed this and said 5 conditions are required for the words to reveal an object. We find, unfortunately, Brahman does not fulfill all these 5 conditions. Shabda pravritti nimitta rahitam Brahma. That being so, how can Brahman be revealed by the Vedantic scriptures? Vedanta is Shabda Pramana. Now, what are the conditions? Just to know and also appreciate how deeply our rishis have analyzed everything. First condition is called Rudhi. Rudhi means Pratyaksha Vishayatvam, being available for direct perception. If an object is available for direct perception, then we can see the object, you also can see, and we can come to the conclusion that this object to be named as this, etc. Like table, chair, etc. And once you have seen this, and thereafter when I use the word chair, that word reveals the object. The sun, star, you understand, as you and I have seen it. Second condition is called jati. A species, suppose a tree outside. You have not experienced it, but you have seen some other tree. Suppose I say there is a tree outside, even though you don't see the tree, you understand the tree. How do you know? Because this tree is in the same class of trees which I have seen elsewhere. In the case of sun, we cannot say that because there is no jati for sun. But tree, you understand, even if it is parijata tree in the heaven. Therefore, if an object falls under a species, it can be revealed through Shabda. Number 2. Number 3, property, guna. Even if you don't know the object, but it can be known through its property. Please bring that blue object, you can say. 4th, karma. What does he do? Please call the driver. Even though you don't know him, you can reveal that person through what he does. 5th one, sambandha. Through relationship like brother, father, etc., brother-in-law, etc. And Brahman does not have any one of them. Now then, how are you going to teach Brahman using words? Now this is the dilemma. Shankaracharya refers to this point in Mandukya Bhashyam. Now what is our answer? Even though words cannot reveal Brahman by a normal method, still words can reveal by ingeniously using or by special method. And the Upanishad managed to do so. That is why we say a guru is required to handle the words of Upanishad, because the words of the Upanishad do not function in a normal way, but it functions in an abnormal way. And the Upanishad use different technique for this. We'll talk about such methods. Number 1, the Upanishad can reveal Brahman by using apparent or unreal attributes. Even though Brahman has no real attributes, the Upanishad managed to reveal Brahman with the help of mithya or apparent attribute. Example is revealing the sky through the blue color of the sky, which is not the real attribute of sky. Akasha does not have any real color, but it has a mithya color, and therefore I can reveal Akasha with the mithya color. So too blue color of water of the ocean. Ocean water does not have any color. I can reveal the sun by talking about the rising sun and setting sun. Even though we all know that sun do not rise or set. And it is the earth that goes around in the opposite direction. Therefore, words can reveal Brahman with the help of apparent attributes. And in the case of Atma or Brahman, the apparent attribute we make use of is Sakshitvam. Witness attribute of consciousness is not the real attribute of consciousness. And it is from the standpoint of Mithya Prapancha. Brahman is called witness. But Brahman does not have any real Sakshitvam as his attribute, but we use the apparent status and reveal the real Brahman. This is method number 1. And the second method is we can use a temporary or incidental attribute to reveal an object. The incidental attribute is not the real intrinsic attribute of that object. It's called Tata Selection. The example in the Shastra is a person showing a friend's house which is amidst several similar houses. Suppose there is a housing colony. All the houses are looking same. Someone wants to know which is the house of Devadatta. You cannot tell the color because those days numbering was not there. At that time, a crow come and sit on that house. Now this crow is an incidental indicator, not an intrinsic part of the house. Kakavat griham devadatta griham. Next day you cannot look for a crow to identify the house. Similarly, consciousness cannot be easily revealed directly, but we use the temporary association with the body and reveal that consciousness is that which is not a part of the body, product of the body, property of the body, etc. That which enlivens the body is consciousness, etc. It is called Tata Selection. Then what is the third method used? The very absence of attribute is used for revealing the truth. For example, when there are several glasses are there, in all the glasses some item or other is there, but in one glass there is nothing. Please bring the empty glass. Now what do you mean by that? Emptiness is not a positive attribute of the glass. Emptiness reveals the absence of things. Even though emptiness is not an attribute of anything which is capable of revealing that particular glass, the very absence of attribute becomes a revealing factor. It is peculiar. Call that bald man. It is an absence of hair. It is not a positive attribute. Therefore, absence of attribute can reveal Brahman. So you see, Anantam Brahma. What is the meaning? Absence of limitation. And that absence of limitation becomes a revealing factor of Brahman. Nirgunam, Nishkalam, Nirakaram, Brahma. They are all the same. So, number one, apparent attribute, blue sky. Second, incidental attribute, crow. Absence of attribute, empty glass. And the fourth and final method is without talking about Brahman. And indirectly you reveal Brahman. So you talk without talking. They call Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam. How do you do that? You are doing this always. How? Suppose there are two children. The mother says the elder son is very intelligent. And the younger one feels very bad, even though the mother has not said a word about the younger son. By saying the elder one is intelligent, you have indirectly said the younger one is not so, isn't it? This is without saying, you are saying. This is also called Mauna Vyakyanam. You indirectly communicate. You ask one person after the class is over, where are you going? That person says, I will drop you. You ask, where are you going? That's all. That person understood, you need a ride. Thus, there is a method of communication without communication. Upanishad uses this method which is called Neti, Neti. Naiti, Naiti. It does not positively talk about Atma, but it negates Anatma. When all objects are negated, what is left is the unnegatable Atma. The knower principle alone is that Atma. Lakshana-vritti, by implication, by employing one or other method, the Upanishads successfully reveal you the knowledge of Brahman. Lastly, we will see one more important point. Words can and will give the knowledge, but a knowledge is complete only when the knowledge become intimate knowledge, which is in the form of direct experience. Only when we have direct experience, then we have complete knowledge. This is what we generally see. A person described the beauty of Gangotri and Badrinath. I can read volumes of books of Badrinath and Gangotri, but I can even get clear idea about these places, but we know that that knowledge is incomplete unless we directly go there and experience those places. Therefore, we find normally knowledge has to culminate into experience. Anubhava. Also, we find words are capable of giving knowledge only. Words are not capable of giving direct experience. And without direct experience, knowledge is incomplete. Naturally, the question comes, Vedanta is in the form of words. And hence, Vedanta can give only knowledge, and the knowledge is incomplete unless it is converted into direct experience. How can Vedantic knowledge be complete? Therefore, people talk about the incompleteness of the Vedantic study. This is within Vedanta, two schools are there, okay? And they talk about varieties of sadhanas to convert this knowledge into experience. They invariably say Brahmajnanam is different and Brahma Anubhava is different. Atmajnanam is different, Atma Anubhuti is different. And then how can attending these classes give Anubhava? They can give only knowledge, and knowledge is incomplete by itself without Anubhava, experience. This is the next question. How can Vedanta give Brahma Anubhava? Therefore, introduce meditation sadhana for Anubhava. This is the question, and what is your answer to this? We will have to clearly understand this. Otherwise, we will have problem in understanding Mandukya. Now we say that Vedantic teaching in the form of words can give only knowledge. Because words can give only knowledge, we admit that. There is no question about that. And words cannot give Anubhava also. That also we agree. But what we say is Vedanta does not give Anubhava, and Vedanta does not want to give any Anubhava. Vedanta does not give and does not want to give any Anubhava, because according to Vedanta, we don't require any new Anubhava. No new experience at all. Because our problem is not the lack of any Anubhava, our problem is lack of knowledge alone. What do you mean by that? We should remember all our experiences of ourselves can be classified into two types. One is Dvaita Anubhava, another is Advaita Anubhava. All possible experience can be categorized into these two, Dvaitam, Advaitam. There is no third one. And according to Vedanta, all of us have gone through both Dvaitam and Advaitam Anubhavas. No human being lacks Dvaita Anubhava, and no human being lacks Advaita Anubhava. Everyone has gone through both the Anubhavas, How do you say this? In the waking and dream state of experiences, we have always gone through Dvaita Anubhava, wherein I experience myself as a subject, an experiencer, different from the object. In Jagrat Avastha, my experience is subject-object duality. And this experience is called Savikalpa Anubhava. An experience in which there is division of object and subject. In this Dvaita Anubhava, not only I experience division, I experience myself as an individual localization. I am in this time and space separate individual, different from others. Naturally, I am limited I. An individualized I, limited I experience, and this is called Dvaita Anubhava. And we have gone through another experience called deep sleep. In this experience, I never have subject-object division. Therefore, in deep sleep state, we have no Savikalpa Anubhava, but Nirvikalpaka Anubhava. An experience in which subject-object duality is not there. Here I am not an individual entity. There is no individuality in deep sleep state. Suptasya suptam na janami. Waking, I can say I am in New Jersey, but in deep sleep I cannot locate myself. Naturally, I don't experience any limitation also. Unlimited, undivided, I experience during Sushupti Avastha. This is clean Advaita Anubhava. Everyone has gone through that. If any one of you say, I have not experienced sleep, come to Mandukya class. You will experience. The student-teacher duality disappears. Dvaita Anubhava, I have gone through. Jagrat Swapna, Advaita Anubhava, I have gone through in deep sleep. Other than Dvaita Anubhava and Advaita Anubhava, there is no third Anubhava possible. Okay. And you cannot say another Advaita Anubhava. It is not possible. Dvaita Anubhava can be many, but Advaita Anubhava only one. Therefore, Vedanta does not want to give you any new Anubhava. Because all the possible Anubhavas we have gone through in Avasthatrayam. Then what is our problem? According to Vedanta, our problem is not lack of Advaita Anubhava. Our problem is in Dvaita Anubhava, I experience myself as a limited I. In Advaita Anubhava, I experience myself as limitless I. So limited I have experienced. Limitless I have experienced. But what is our problem? Our problem is which one is our real nature? Limited I or limitless I? You cannot say both are my nature because both are diagonally opposite in nature. Therefore, one I cannot be at one time limited and limitless. Only therefore, one possibility is that one of them is my real nature, and the other must be any my incidental nature, not my real nature. One must be Swabhavika Dharma and the other is Agantuka Dharma. Either I must be really limitless but incidentally appearing as though limited, or I should be really limited and incidentally appearing as though limitless. Which is original and which is false? Unfortunately, before the study of Vedanta, we have always concluded in the wrong way. The limited I is my real nature. The limitlessness I obtaining in deep sleep is only an incidental nature. Limitlessness is only temporary, is our conclusion. Our problem is not lack of experience, but our problem is wrong conclusion based on the available experience. And the aim of Vedanta is not to present you with another experience, but only to question our conclusion and rectify our conclusion. And what should be the rectified conclusion? Must be I am the limitless one, which is my real nature. The limited human experience I go through is only an incidental vesha. Therefore, you are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. Not the other way around. A human being wants spiritual experience. What we have concluded is that I am a human being and therefore I am looking for a spiritual experience. This conclusion is wrong. What is the teaching? You are a spiritual being with an incidental feature which is temporary. Thus, Vedanta does not give a new experience. Vedanta does not want the student to expect a new experience. Vedanta wants to correct our self-conclusion based on our available experience. Mandukya analyzes our available experience of waking, dream and deep sleep without introducing any new experience. It analyzes the available three states of experiences. Vedanta is assisting you in arriving at the proper knowledge. And that proper knowledge comes only in Jagrat Avastha. Therefore, Vedanta gives knowledge, and that knowledge is enough for liberation, because our problem is lack of knowledge, not lack of experience. That knowledge Vedanta can happily give. Okay, we'll stop here. It took 5 more minutes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Anybody know?